Okay, I'm doing a Mercedes E320. I have tried at least twice to seal this oil pan. It looks very slightly distorted, and that's the only reason I can think that this baby is leaking. So, in conversation with the customer, I said, look, let's put a gasket on it. But of course they don't make one. You have to use sealant only. And the basic gasket sheets, pardon me, that you get from the local parts store are not wide enough. So we had to buy a special gasket sheet from, I think it was McMaster and Carr. And it was not a cheap piece of gasket material. Fortunately, it gives me 4 chances to fuck up, or 3 to fuck up and 1 to get it right. So I've cut the gasket out, as you can see. I'm just getting the wood on there because when they send you the gasket material, it's rolled, and it constantly wants to roll. So I've cut out the basic shape. I've punched the holes through with, you know, the things you get from Harbour Freight. You know, put them on a block of wood and give them a whack, and you know, it goes through. In order to mark the inside, I'm going to use this. This is an old woodworking tool that I have had for God knows how long, God knows where I got it. It doesn't do corners, so my plan is, first of all, I measured here to make sure I was getting past these little bumps with a little bit of leeway. It's not going to matter if it encroaches inside the oil pan fractionally. So what the plan is on the straight edges, I will place this and run a line. Now, on this curve I might be okay. Not sure about this curve, it's a little tighter. We'll see. The worst that can happen is I mark it and I don't cut it on that mark. A little more. I can't remember what you call these things. Something gauge. Mortise and tenon gauge? Not sure. Don't quote me. Alright. So I've got some lines there now. Not many, I'll grant you. And what I'm going to try and do is get a pen and mark it. Now where the gouge is not so bad. Oh dear, that's fucked. Guess that one's for the trash. Let's try a bluey, that's better. You get the idea, don't you, huh? Now, here I'm just going to wing it. And I will not be cutting on this line, I'll be cutting on the generous side. No, not genocide, generous side. I'm not worried if I'm a little off, just really a visual guide for me. Oops. See, went off there a little bit. It don't matter. Okay. See how this bugger curves? And so you kind of have to guess at some of it. You know, just use your eye or someone else's. Now, is this a recommended method by Mercedes? Of course fucking not. They probably want you to buy a brand new oil pan. And guess what? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try and fix this customer's problem for the price of a little bit of gasket sheet there. Now, those of you that are saying, okay, you got a gasket, Gary, you're going to use sealant? Yes, I am going to use sealant on it. And I have this special Mercedes sealant, which is what they want you to use in place of it. And it's called Finalizing. Almost sounds Japanese. It's not. And then in English it says surface sealing. So that will be something I'll do. Oh, I need to find the nipple before we put that together. So my next challenge is to cut this out. Well, I think what I'll do is I'm going to bang a hole in and then I'm not going to show you me doing that. It's not rocket science, is it, guys? Get a pair of scissors, stick through material, follow line. That's what I'm going to do. I'll bring you back when I have completed the cut, and then hopefully the gasket will not be so springy because it'll be a lot less material. Let's hope so. There's the gasket. Okay, you know it's not. So nice. I got a 16th gasket because I wanted something really thick to absorb the clamping. Asbestos-free gasketing. Gasketing. This seems like really good shit. You still have to be a little careful with it because I've got a feeling it will probably tear if you're not careful. Yeah. So, you know, you can't go crazy with it. Yeah. So, you know, you can't bend and twist it too much. You've got to play a little game with it. There is the pan, and yes, I'm resting it on top of the gasket. I still have to clean up the bottom of the engine. So what my plan is, my plan is to leave this here overnight. As you can see, it doesn't spring up as much as this, which is great news in my book. I've been a little generous with the cutting. I'm going to go around and finesse it a little bit, finagle it. And I've got to be careful here because I can feel it there. It's close. So I'm going to leave this overnight, just resting there, and then tomorrow morning clean off the bottom of the oil pan. Once I've cleaned off the bottom of the oil pan, give it a good blast of brake cleaner. Do the same on this. Then it's trial time. Put the sealant on, put the gasket on, put the sealant on, chuck it on to go, and keep fingers crossed. Still can't remember what you call that. I'm sure it's a mortise and tenon gauge. This one of course is special because it has the 2 pins there which you adjust by twiddling this little beastie here. God, I've had this for more years than I care to remember. Very handy tool. I've used it. I mean, you can use it in scribing on metal too. No, I'm not, going to go deep, but these points are really sharp and very tough. This is for doing, as I said, your mortise and tenon. And you woodworking people will know what I mean by mortise and tenon. And then you wind this to the appropriate width on your wood, and then you cut out what I would call the tongue, and I could well be wrong in that word, but you're just going to have to live with it, aren't you? And where was this made? This is totally off of Marples and Sons, Sheffield, England. There you go. This will be around long after I have popped my clogs. Lovely, very simple old tool that is extremely useful, and all you young people that are watching this going, what the fuck's that? You'll be surprised how much and how useful these older tools can be. Like me, I'm an old tool, but I'm still very useful. Alright, let's let that rest, and tomorrow I'll take you underneath the car, although for you it's the next moment. I'll take you underneath the car after I've cleaned it off, and show you what I'm going on about with replacing the oil pan gasket, which never was a gasket. Alright, now the fun bit. It's been laying there all night, so hopefully not too curly-whirly. Let's get the goo on. This syringe. Dee-da-dum. This is special Mercedes gasket goo. Only Mercedes gasket goo works on Mercedes engines, folks. It goes Mr. Blobby. Alright, let's see how far I can spread this shit. Trying desperately not to get too much on the inside. I think I probably put a little too much on here. So I'm going to have to scrape some of it off. Oh, tell you what, this is sticky shit. God, I can hardly move my finger through it. Worse than a Vindaloo. Vindaloo? Have you Vindaloo? That's probably why they called it a Vindaloo. After you're eating it, you Vindaloo all day and all night. Yeah, a little too much there, Gary. So we'll leave a big blob here, and we will use it. Tell you, this is real sticky shit. The customer gave me this because he likes his Mercedes stuff. Alright, off with the big blob, Mr. Big Blobby. There we go. Stick it down. I tell you, folks, if this fucker leaks now, it'll be a bloody miracle, and I will give up working on cars. God, this sticky shit. God, I don't think I've met gasket this sticky. Mercedes say you don't need a gasket. Maybe they're right with this stuff. Gosh. Golly gosh gosh. I don't even think I'll need bolts to hold this to the car engine. Just press it up and it'll stay there. Almost there. It's moved a bit, hasn't it? So I'll just have to push that back. Oh, that really is sticky shit. Okay. All the holes are lined up. Stick it down. Yep, we're all lined up. Okay, time to stick it on the car. There it is, all done and in place. This has not set yet. This is still a little bit sticky. So hopefully that will set with running the engine. I don't see any leaks at the moment. I think what I will do now is just run the engine and see how it goes. Now you'll note here, which is nothing to do with that job, I've disconnected that. That's to do with the leveling system, I believe. And I'm going to take these control arms off and replace them because the bushes are absolutely shot. So I figured disconnecting it electrically is probably the best thing to do, but I'm also going to look up and see what they say about the suspension here. Also, I want to have a look at these joints. Hang on a second. Yeah, not sure. I think they're yeah, they are. They're transmission lines. And the one here I notice is rather wet, so I'm going to try pinching that up. I'm going to clean it first, and then I'll pinch it up, because as you can see, it's been throwing oil up there, which is not good. All right, that's the end of this video for the oil pan. I will be making a video regarding removing the lower control arms and the rear control arms. There are lots of videos out there that are probably a lot better than the ones I'm about to produce, but there you go. That's your choice whether you watch mine or them. And as you can see there, looking at that control arm bush, I am shot. And I'm not going to screw around. I'm replacing the whole control arm. They do have a habit of rusting here and breaking. So what happens is the moisture and crap gets in here and just rests in this point. It's a design fault. They rest here and then these break. So with this customer, who is a very good customer, I said, look, I'm not going to screw around by just replacing the bushes. Let's do the whole control arms, purely because of the problems that can happen. and he was very, what shall I say, grateful for my decision, honesty. I don't fuck around. I tell it like it is, and if a customer decides that he doesn't want to do what I suggest, then I tell him to please go somewhere else, because I'm not going to do a half-assed job. Same, you know, I won't replace one shock absorber, or, you know, I don't know, anything on one side only. You don't do that. All right, sorry about that other guy going on in the background. That's me in one of my other videos that I was just checking. All right, now let's get this one loaded. You get your ass out in that garage and do some shit.